It is such a pleasure to have Dr. Bree Bradley with us today. How are you?
I am great. Good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. I am doing fantastic. Tell us where you're from. Tell us all about you.
Well, I am from Amarillo, Texas. I was born and raised here in the Texas Panhandle, and I am the oldest of seven kids. I grew up in just this flat land that's so beautiful with all the sunsets. And I have two kids. Actually, I have three. I took in a surrogate son last year. So I
Oh,
have a 20-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 16-year-old.
oh my goodness. I see. And one of them is a musician.
One of them is a musician. I grew up in the music industry, and when we adopted, I had prayed that one of my children would have my music talent. And Braden was always kind of a drummer with his hands, and he ended up picking up the guitar a year and a half ago and plays naturally by ear.
Oh, that's
So
incredible.
really proud of him.
That is incredible. So tell us what you do.
I am a naturopathic doctor. I practice natural medicine. I started when I became a cancer patient at 26 years old, and they pretty much gave me a death sentence and sent me home. And I decided that wasn't for me and that we were going to find a different way. And so I was already studying for my naturopathic doctorate, and I went ahead and basically finished through my journey of cancer for 10 years. And now I help people from colds to cancers.
Oh my gosh, you are a survivor. Woohoo!
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. You look amazing.
Thank you.
So tell us, so you also had some trips that actually inspired
I
your
did.
hobby. So tell us about that.
I did. So when I was a cancer patient, Angel Flight would step up and volunteer to fly patients that were really far from the treatment centers. And I flew Angel Flight for almost 10 years, so almost a decade, and got to know the pilots. And every time I'd hop in the plane, they'd say, "Hey, little girl, you want to fly today?" And I would say, "Yes." And I learned the planes, and it's funny because I'm scared of heights, terrified. You put me on a second story, and I don't want to get even close to the rail, but when I'm in the air, I feel free. And I began writing the first of my books during my journey. And I remember saying to myself and to the pilots, I'm going to one day finish my pilot's license and volunteer to do just this, but not take cancer patients to the centers, but take them on vacations, because you never really get that. You spend every holiday in a cancer center, and I wanted to change that.
And congratulations, because I've seen that you've just got your pilot's license.
Now I'm not all the way finished. I'm almost done.
Excellent.
I'm almost completed. I'm just finishing up those hours, but yes, I am almost completely done, and I'm super excited.
So what are your plans then? Do you already have something kind of
Kind of lined up. I do have people that have been in my practice for 20 years that have been battling cancer, and my first thoughts are that I want to take them on a dream vacation.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible. So, what has been the process for getting your pilot's license?
Um, it's, um, it's an interesting process. It's kind of rigorous. You get in there and you just kind of have to get to know the plane and get to know the air really well, and your boundaries. And I had to really get over a couple of fears. And now that I've done that, I am so enjoying flying. You have about 40 hours to your private pilot's license. Now I'm going to continue on and get my charter license to take groups of people. So that's kind of the plan on that rate.
Well, I want to be the first on your plane.
Absolutely. South Texas has my heart, actually. I used to live in Austin, and you got it, girl.
So, what do you find most rewarding? You said that you just feel free. I mean, what is it? What does it feel like?
When I'm in the air, because when I'm on the ground, everybody needs me. When I'm in the air, my phone is off. I am able to just concentrate on the task at hand. You see all the beautiful land you can see for miles and miles around here because there isn't really mountains. It's just kind of flat land. So you see the sunsets and the sunrises, and it just gives you a sense of, it's kind of my time with the Lord. I'm able to just kind of just enter in a new realm, and it is invigorating. It's very freeing.
That's incredible. I love it. So you also, so you're doing a number of things. You're also a midwife. So
I
how do
am.
you balance everything? Tell us about everything that you are doing.
I'm expanding my business. I'm offering all kinds of different therapies, from sensory deprivation tank to oxygen therapy to infrared sauna, just kind of holistic ways to help your body every day from start to finish. And balance came with, I think, wisdom and age. Through the 20 years of practice, I didn't have as much balance. When you start getting a little older, you learn that you can't work 7 days a week. I prioritize time off. I prioritize weekends with my family. I make sure that if my kiddos need me, I am taking a break and going to events. And I think you just have to learn that your priorities have to stay in sync when you're in a business like I am, where it's just all the time, and allow people to know that healthy boundaries are good in your business and your life.
So how many deliveries do you do like in a month?
Mine is not a whole bunch. It's kind of almost in a year because I am on call a lot for a delivery. And so I chose to basically take a few a year, between 5 to 10. I don't do a whole bunch. It used to be kind of primary in my practice, but since I've been expanding with my holistic practices, I kind of toned it down. So I'm still doing it, but I'm just not doing hundreds or anything like that anymore. I've done about 400 deliveries over the last 20 years, and I love it. I started out with actually my own mom. She actually had seven of us and didn't make it to the hospital, and that would began my passion of midwifery.
Oh my gosh. Well, what is it like? I mean, I know I was there with my sister when she had her first baby, and it's just so magical. You cry, and it's just, I don't know. It's just hard to explain.
You know, my journey, I wasn't able to have my own children. All my kids are adopted. And so it was hard at first, and it was kind of a healing journey for me. I got into midwifery to heal a lot of the pain of infertility. And the Lord just began to share with me that I was going to be a part of women's journeys and their infertility journey, and bringing life in where didn't seem to be a possibility. And I've helped 56 couples have babies that had no hope. And that began the journey of the midwifery for me, was helping couples that couldn't have babies just like me.
Oh my God, you're incredible. You give me goosebumps. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it. Oh, it's so incredible. I love it. I wasn't able to have kids. And sometimes I have moments, that are,
I
I
do.
get a little sad about it, but it's what was, that's not in my plan. So I love how you've taken it and you've just made it something so beautiful. And you've
That's where,
adopted three beautiful
oh,
children.
they're so beautiful. And I'll tell you what, they were drug babies, and I didn't even hesitate. And they ended up beautiful, productive, amazing human beings that are just the highlight of my life. And when I look at them, I realize that every tear that fell, every time I would get a negative test, that journey ended just exactly how God meant it to be. And they're perfect.
Oh, that's beautiful. You're so beautiful. You are. So then what does your day normally look like?
Well, I wake up usually around 5 o'clock, and I spend some sweet time with my son. He loves to come in the morning and just talk to mom, and that's kind of like our time. And I don't negotiate that. I call him and he'll say, "Is it time to come in?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we kind of spend our little time, and then we get up and I go work out. He gets ready, and from there it is drop off and kind of hit the ground running. I get to the office and start seeing everything from, I do life coaching and all kinds of different things in my practice. So I put on different hats and am able to see a cold, and then help with medical massage and therapies. And, you just kind of go through just putting different hats on. And my day ends around 8 or 9 o'clock on 2 to 3 days a week. And I make sure I'm home for dinner. The others. So that's how I keep balance. I allow myself to work really long, a couple days a week, and then realize that it's home and making dinner the others, so that my kiddo didn't feel like, where's mama?
So what is your favorite part of the job?
All of it. I love watching people come in. My fertility patients are probably my favorite, because I remember the heartache of every single month and the journey that I took, and the loss. I had a lot of miscarriages. And I remember feeling like, God, if I can ever help someone have this, I want to. And so when they come in and they're pregnant, and we're starting the journey, and now I'm their midwife, and we transition into that new phase, and I watch their bellies grow, and I watch the happiness in their families. That to me is probably the greatest gift I can give back, with the fact that I have adopted babies, and I had to go through watching our birth mom, who we're actually pretty close with the families.
Yeah.
um, I watched their loss, and now I could turn around and watch the journey of the gift come back into people's life, and they have their baby. So that's probably the most rewarding. Now I can say that cancer, when they beat cancer, it's the same kind of thing. I remember beating cancer myself. So I think my whole job is wonderful. I don't have a day where I feel like I work. I feel like God has blessed me with a ministry of 26 years of never working, and having a beautiful testimony to say, not only did I live, but I help people live every day.
That's so beautiful. You are such a special person. You are. I'm a cancer
Well, thank
survivor too.
Are
Um,
you?
I am. I had leukemia when I was
Congratulations.
9, and so I was in the hospital, in and out for more than a year, and did the chemo and radiation treatment. And I still have scars from that just remind me that, hey, I'm a survivor. And so I don't talk about it a lot, but I feel like, and I had another interview, and they were like, you need to really, create awareness about it and do more. So that's one of my goals I want to work on, just
You know what?
being an
Cancer,
advocate.
it doesn't have to be a death sentence. And that's where I come in as a naturopathic physician, is when you understand that emotional health and physical health go side by side, you see a lot more survivorship. I think people walk into cancer centers and there's just negative everywhere, and people dying, and it's a very hard environment. And my encouragement to people is research and look, because there are options, and it's a beautiful thing to go through a journey and be able to have hope the whole time, and not really look at all the negatives. And anyone can be a survivor, stage 4 to stage 1. I've been both. I was stage 4 and terminal, and planned my own funeral, and
Oh,
realized that this was not going to happen, and I spoke life every day, and I overcame it, and I won't go back. But a lot of it is emotional health.
so what's been the most challenging for you?
Out of everything, my divorce after 20 years was pretty tough. I had to walk through that after I had beaten cancer, and just I think the stress of the fertility and the cancer all the years just kind of took its toll, and that was pretty tough to let go of that dream of having my marriage forever, and our children, and our little dream that we had dreamed up. It was tough to watch it fall apart, but um, cancer was tough. But I think when you watch your own expectation of what your life should be, and then accept the new that God brings into it, and you learn to look at life a little differently. That was a tough journey for me. I kind of spun a little bit. I didn't Dating after 20 years was really tough. And I didn't quite know how to handle life, as life was now versus 20 years ago. That was a tough journey.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that.
You know what? It's turned around into a blessing. I think, and this is what I teach my patients. There is nothing that we go through that ends up in a regret. It is a journey of learning and learning how to turn your battles into victories, and realizing that if you didn't have that experience, if I wouldn't have gone through fertility, if I wouldn't have had the cancer, the journey that I went through there, I couldn't help all the patients I help today. And even in life coaching, I coach marriages from on the rocks back into marriage. And so that right there, if I wouldn't have had the experience, I wouldn't know. So I'm thankful for it.
Amen. Amen. I love it. So then you mentioned that you're working on a book. Do you know when it's going to be coming out? Or
Well, I'm working on 5 books. I'm not an
five
under
books?
I'm an overachiever. Yes. Okay, so my first book has been kind of in the process through the 10-year journey, and it's called Shattered Dreams to Butterfly Wings, and I'm kind of getting that name out there. It is coming soon. In the next year, I should be published. Everything's been kind of ready, but COVID kind of slowed us down a little bit and brought us back. So I had to switch publishers, and so that is up and coming. The cover reminds me exactly of the journey I've gone through. It's when you look at the cover, it's a beautiful butterfly. But one side of it, when you turn it, you see these flames, and it's burning. And then when you turn it to the other side, the flames turn into mosaic masterpiece. And I think that is where our journey becomes beautiful, is that we take all the fiery sides of life and we become a mosaic masterpiece. And so that's what I want people to feel when they read that book.
Ooh, I can't wait. You'll have to keep me updated on that.
I will sign and send you a copy.
And so 4 others, what are
I have
those?
4 others. One is we call it the Book of Brie, and it's kind of like all my remedies and things that I do in my practice that you can do at home, like peppermint brings down a fever, just little things that new parents need to know, grandparents need to know, and just tips and tricks at home that can help without running to the doctor. Um, Another one of my books is a love story, and it has a little twist at the end that you don't expect. And I've been writing that one this last year, and it's really been heartwarming to kind of look at love in a different light. So I'm enjoying that one. And then a couple other ones are going to be a surprise.
Awesome. That's so exciting. So then you have a publisher that you're working with on all of the books?
I am 2 different publishers. One of them is a Christian publisher and one of them is not. So I'm kind of working with 2 different ones, and I'm enjoying the process of both.
So then are you writing the entire story and then they make edits to it, or how does that
Yeah,
process work?
I write pretty much, I write the whole book, and they just kind of edit and go through and figure out things that we need to pull out, put in, and help me design the covers and get everything ready for a book tour and publishing. So we'll have to do an
Excellent.
interview again when we publish.
Yes, you'll have to come to San Antonio as part of your book tour.
I would love to. I would love,
Yes, let me know. We'll definitely connect.
absolutely.
So, what do you want listeners to know about you and your purpose?
Um, the whole thing I think with life in general is that I teach all of my patients, my kiddos, you don't have to dream one dream in your life. You don't have to focus on one thing, but you can dream all your dreams and accomplish things that you never did, and get that fire back inside of you. A lot of people forget their own favorite color, favorite meal through life. And I just encourage people to zone back in and get to know themselves and remember that healing is possible no matter what area or journey or stage you're at on that journey. Anything is possible when you put your mind to it, and you don't have to sit where you are. You're not a tree. Get up and move, and let's get life moving in the right direction.
I love it. So, where can people find you?
Okay, so I haven't had this website very long because I just designed it, so I'm going to tell you. It is bodyoflifeholisticwellness.com. I just created that. I have a Dr. Brie podcast you can look up, and I'm on every platform that there is. And Dr. Bree Bradley on Facebook. I'm
Excellent.
not on a ton of them. Go ahead.
And I'll put links in the show notes as well of
Sure.
this. So amazing. Is there anything else that you wanted to share?
I think that wraps up a lot of it. I'm so blessed to be on your podcast. I just think that I admire everything that you're doing, and I love your music. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate the friendship that you've shown me over the last couple months, just getting to know you. And I look
No.
forward to the journey.
Right back at you. You're incredible. And I wish so many wonderful things for you. You are already doing so many amazing things. And yeah, let's reconnect definitely, especially when you release your book. So, and I can't wait to
Absolutely.
get my copy.
I can't wait to share it with you. I'll tell you what, when you're on that journey and it took you 10 years to write it because you had to slow down through parts, you're so excited when you finally get to that finishing part of the journey. So I'm so excited too, and I can't wait to be back on with you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, honey. And I hope you have an amazing and gloriously blessed day.
You too.